Hello, I'm Martin Allen. In this short video I'm going to talk to you about Collate, the Children's Centre Evaluation and Analysis tool. Collate is a simple yet powerful application that lets you record and analyse all of your Children's Centre evaluation data in one place. Now, at its core, Collate's got two functions. The first in this area here is to record the outcomes from the sessions that we've delivered, so from the many evaluation forms that you'll no doubt have in your Children's Centre setting. And the second is for Collate to automatically analyse and interpret that data to produce insightful and meaningful reports, and those functions sort of go on over here in this area. Now, we need Collate because Children's Centres are great at delivering services, but they're not employed to be data analysts, and there can be such a wealth of data available that it can be hard to make sense of it, and there's a chance that we could be missing opportunities. Now, Collate will help you in the sense that it will enable you to make decisions based on evidence, it will let you show the outside world the progress you're making, and it will produce a series of insightful reports which you can copy out to other documents, so for example your SEF report, your self-evaluation report. Now, in the rest of this video, what I'm going to do is go through a small case study to show off some of the features of Collate. So I'm going to imagine that I've recently completed a session in my Children's Centre, and that session is going to be the Baby Club, and I've got a big pile of evaluation forms in front of me, and I've had a lot of feedback from people, and Collate's going to help me to understand what that means in terms of the outcomes that I'm achieving and making plans for the future. So, this area here is where we would copy over the paper-based evaluation questions that we've got. So I'm going to imagine that the session that I've just completed took place on the 20th of January 2013. It's Charlie who's popping the details on here. If you've got a family identity number, you can include that for Collate. And we've already selected the Baby Club as the session. Now, in this example, I have actually tallied the questions that we're using for our evaluation to the Every Child Matters framework. But actually, one of the beauties of Collate is that we can use the exact evaluation data that you've got in your Children's Centre. Now, what that means is that the reports and the information that you get back is the exact set of information that you need relevant to your setting. So I'm just going to go ahead and select one of these. Now, look what happens. When I pick the category, the questions that will be on my paper-based evaluation form, they automatically appear. And I just go through and I just copy across the answers that I'll have in front of me, that some of my parents will have already completed. Once I've done that, all I need to do is click Enter to Database, and Collate automatically records all of that information. Now let's take another example. Let's say, for example, this session was 5 or 6 weeks in length, and I wanted to know how well the person had come on in terms of their knowledge of what we were doing. So we perhaps would ask them how much they understood before they came on the session and how much they understood after. And again, we just enter that data to the database, and Collate will do the rest for us. Now, here's where it gets very exciting, because over here where it says Generate Reports, this is where we're given a range of choices from detailed reports to average reports and overview reports. Now, I've already selected that I want my report to relate to the Baby Club, and I'm going to hit Generate Report here. Once I've done that, Collate lets me know that the work has been done, and it's generated reports for the Baby Club session, and it's taking the data all the way back from the 6th of May 2010 through to the 28th of January 2013. Now, we're going to have a look at the average reports. Now, what Collate's done is take all of the data relating to the Baby Club, and it's presenting it back as some averages to us. So, do you recall just now we put in the information about the knowledge before and after, and we answered some questions relating to being healthy? So with a quick glance here, we can tell that our Baby Club session, on average, people come to that with quite a low knowledge prior to commencing the session, and quite a high knowledge afterwards. So at first glance we might think that's great, you know, we are achieving the outcomes that we're setting out to achieve. But actually, let's just scroll down. Let's have a little look further down. And what we might realise is that when we look at being healthy, what Collate's doing is presenting back all of the information relating to these questions. So I make healthy choices, I sometimes find it hard to leave my home, my child's behaviour is difficult to manage, and so on. And what we see here is that we're being given average scores. Now, gosh, that's a bit disconcerting, isn't it? That between 1 and 4, with 1 being that somebody doesn't agree, or 4 being that they strongly agree, we've got an average of 3.14 and 3.29 for I sometimes find it hard to leave my home and my child's behaviour is difficult to manage. Now, that suggests that perhaps we need to refocus the session, maybe do something to make sure that we are addressing those areas. And I'll come back to that in just a moment. And one of the beauties of this very insightful report which has been automatically created for us is that I can just copy that. I can go to my word processing software and I can just paste that straight in. And I can see that my baby club, over the long term, there are some issues relating to whether or not families are happy to leave their house and whether or not we're happy to manage difficult behaviour. So let's keep with this case study. Let me go back to the home page, again just a click of a button, and let's stick with this example of our baby club. Now let's imagine that the report we've just run, which was from the 6th of May 2010 to the 28th of January 2013, showed that there were some issues relating to families wanting to leave the house or managing behaviour. So let's imagine that actually at the start of December 2012 we put in place a slightly different agenda within our baby club. We put in place something to address those issues of families being comfortable leaving the house or managing difficult behaviour. Now let's generate those reports again, this time working to the time frame that we've outlined here. Collate will let us know when it's done. When I go back to my average reports and I look at being healthy again, oh look, thank goodness, I can see that the averages for finding it hard to leave the home and managing child's behaviour are actually coming down. Now, what that says to me is that whilst we may have had an issue over a longer term basis, I can now clearly demonstrate that the changes I'm making to my services are actually improving the outcomes for the families that are accessing my services. And again, I might just want to pop that in here, and then I can quite easily contrast and compare and show that yes, we identified an issue that needed resolving within our community. I could document the steps that I took, and I can show how the outcomes have been achieved for the families accessing my services. Now, let's go back to the home page. There are still two other types of report that we're yet to look at, the detailed report and our overview report. So let's take a look at the detailed reports now. So if our average reports that we were looking at previously showed us general trends and where general opportunities were to improve outcomes, then the detailed reports are excellent at helping us have an understanding of the numbers that sit behind those averages. So these sorts of reports are excellent if you want to make specific plans for the future. Now, again, you can copy and you can include these in other documents such as your CEF if that's something that you'd like to do. And if you're looking to focus on achieving and improving detailed outcomes, then these are the sorts of reports that are going to be beneficial to you. Every one of the report screens has a print page feature, so if you want to run off some of these reports and include them within your team briefings or discussions with colleagues or peers or steering groups, advisory boards, then you're able to do that with a simple click of a button as well. So let's go back to the home page again and we'll have a look at our final report, which is the overview. I love the overview report because the detailed reports and the average reports are fantastic at presenting the information back to you visually, but what the performance overview report does is give you the statistics to support the outcomes that you're looking to achieve. So let's just take a look at a couple of examples here. So again, it still relates to the baby club session. And let's take a couple of these examples. So I make healthy choices for my family. So we can see how many people are strongly agreeing and disagreeing and agreeing and so on. And this shows us our average score. Now, these scores are related to the individual questions. So some we're going to be looking to get a bit higher and some we're going to be looking to get a bit lower. Let me explain what I mean. So on this chart, a 1 is strongly disagree, a 2 is disagree, a 3 is agree, and a 4 is strongly agree. So where we have I make healthy food choices for my family, we want that number to be as close to 4 as possible because we want people to be making healthy choices for the family. If it relates to I sometimes find it hard to leave my home, then we want that number to be as close to the number 1 as possible. Now what this does is it gives you an opportunity to look and with very concise information understand where you need to be targeting your services and perhaps things you need to be including within your sessions. It also gives a breakdown of information such as who's breastfeeding children, and that's calculated into a percentage. And just like everything else in Collate, if you want to, you can simply copy the information to insert into other reports. So let's go back home. Collate is a very powerful tool and it will help you because it ensures that you're able to demonstrate the success of your services to others, such as Ofsted, your local authority, steering and advisory groups, and it provides you with this quick access to a range of reports that can be used in other documents. Ultimately, what it's there to do is help you make decisions based on evidence, which with the emerging idea of payment by results, I think is going to be something which is more important than ever. So, I hope you've enjoyed this short video. If you've got any questions or you want to contact us for more information, please feel very welcome to do so. You can reach us on 01789 264 357 or inquiries@Martin Allen.